Oh God, that'll be an issue.
It'll be different under
Throw it in
power.
fourth, and there we go, back in third.
It's different under power.
Well, here we go, let's get those wheels out on the road. It may get dusty, but that's the way she goes. We'll build some greasy old cars and drink our AGD. Hey, don't you know, it's partly built.
Alrighty, let's get a seat tossed in here. Start figuring some things out. Alrighty, so next up is shifter. Now we're going to make this obviously somehow be taller and more set back to where I got to kind of sit in the truck. So the way I figure I'm going to do it is we just happen to have a scrap hunk of steel that just fits beautifully right in that slot. So I'm going to lop off about a, I don't know, 1 inch wide chunk. Pop a couple holes in it, throw this in here, just tack weld it for now because I'm going to take it to a well that has proper gas or get a new bottle for the TIG and use it, one of the two. But I'm going to pop a couple holes in this and that will be the lower mount for the shift arm extension I got to make. And then up at the top end, once that whole arm is figured, this, my homemade pistol grip shifter, I'm going to slap that on there and go from there. Now, one thing I might run into as well when I'm doing this whoop-de-doo is I might have shift throw that is about 15,000 miles long. So, what I reckon I'm going to do is on the lower bottom part here, you just got this pin that mounts the actual shift linkage, I guess you'd call it. What I will probably end up doing is making a piece that goes on that drops this hole down and forwards, because then you can kind of keep this shifter right in the middle still, because if you keep going down, you're going to eventually pull this away from the nubbin, I don't know, coming out of the transmission. So if I kick her down and forwards, that should keep this forwards and backwards the same, as well as lowering it down to get me a shorter shift throw. And nextly, I'll grab the back piece to show you. The way this shifter mounts on the back of the transmission is just this arm rides right in there, and it bolts on the transmission. Now, my problem being is, once I drop this down, this shifter might sit a little funny, kind of backwards, like about here. Or is it forwards? Either way, if whatever reason, oh, I know what my problem was. So, when I drop this all down, I would like this to still sit kind of level in line, where if I drop it down, it might end up sitting more kind of cocked up like this. Kind of hard to show you with it all put together, but it won't sit level, it'll sit kind of like that. So the way I'm going to combat that is I will probably build a bracket that has 2 holes here, and I can literally take this whole shifter, pivot it up, because that will bring this back to a level stance with the transmission. I just build a bracket that goes between this and the tranny to mount it here. As long as I don't go past 20, 25 degrees, 30, in that range, it shouldn't have any shifter bind and I should be fine. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it. Who knows? Maybe it'll just sit perfectly fine with just a little modification. I don't have to tilt it. Who knows? We'll find out once we're in there. But let's get hacking up some steel and get her zapped in. Go from there. Cab here. Got our shifter with the old tack welded plate on her. This pin Yep, it's out of the way enough. So the way these work, I'm just gonna take this off, is you got this nub right here. With this linkage goes through, this pin is on it, and it does all the shifting. So, I actually don't know 100% how to install these damn things. I only pulled it off once and I wasn't really paying attention. I believe I'm gonna ram this bolt in first, the cross bolt here, and then just kind of drop her down in place and see if I can feed this on at the same time, just so everything sits roughly where it's gotta be. And we will go from there.
What you need to do is come off this, down and down. Where's this, where's this? Right there.
That is haggard.
Well, you can cut this here, slip that in, and once we got this figured out widthwise, we can cut it and narrow it. Polish it up, it'll look good. We're not using this.
True.
I don't know if your way.
Isn't that just the most haggard looking? There we go, that's my shifter.
Dude, that's first.
Alright, well let me take a feel.
Let me see second. Or whatever.
Yeah, trying to pull it back is a bitch.
It's way far back though.
That's gonna be the problem. So I'm gonna have to do that modification.
We can shorten this a little.
Oh, I was talking about, like, first gear is the most important one.
Because actually it's a little far back even for that. We could go farther forward, in my opinion, to like there.
Go there. So, if I had it here. Roughly. That's not too bad. Support.
You know vice grips?
It's not too bad.
Think these will hold that?
Right about there, roughly. That'll be fine for that gear. Ish. It's hard to tell, really. But let's just plunk her into a gear right about there. Which, I mean, it's not the worst. I can...
Tell you what, let's cut your tack weld and get rid of that piece and see if we can slip this in if I have to shave it a
I
little.
think it needs to be shaved down that quarter. Good. So,
Pretty good.
first there's be fine. Like, pulling back bit is a little awkward, but I don't think it'll be too bad.
It won't be bad once everything's tight.
Once it gets,
Is that in gear? That's not that far back.
No, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's pretty much in gear. So right there, and I'll see if I just shift in the top too. Like, the shift throw is a little aggressive, but I can deal with that after the fact.
Now, do you want that shifter to be bolted on, or do you want to make it one piece?
Oh, no, this is getting bolted on.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. Shifter is in. It's really damn floppy because we're just still using a tapping screw just for the pin, because driving that thing in and out sucks. But, so anyways, there's your neutral spot. Up in a fourth is probably right about here, but with all this slop, it's hard to tell. So I'm guessing right about here. And if you're going to the next gear, you're right about here. So honestly, it's not too bad to manage.
And the throw isn't that bad.
No, it's actually not as bad as I figured. Once we get the pin in there, it'll help it out. And honestly, I might just roll under and ram the pin in anyways, and just...
I would, because we can pull it out after, because
Yeah.
you can just pull the top half out.
We can just drive it. So, let's get this screw out of here. Little trick that I like using. If you got a pin you got to install, I'm trying to get on the pin as a bugger and all that fun jazz. And, you know, you just try to start it so it's kicking off to the side. Small socket where the pin goes inside, and use an extension. Works really well because you can help kind of line that pin up. And make sure you're using an extension you don't care about, because it'll be a bugger getting the socket on it after you use it like this.
Oh, dude. And it's still just throw it in gear. That's first. How much more comfortable can that get?
Here, we're second. It's a little long, but
Nothing you can do about that. But like, that's not a farther throw than my old 4-speed was. That's just a fact of the matter with trucks because the handles are so long, right? Are you gonna shorten the throw?
Like, what is this? Roughly. Okay, let's just start off at 3rd. There-ish.
10 inches.
Oh God! What is the factory shift throw on these things? It was right about here. Right about there. To the factory shift throw is like 6 inches. So honestly, I haven't really added.
No, you haven't even doubled it. That's what I was just thinking, right?
Like, yeah, for a truck, this is fine. Like, I would almost like it a little narrow. I can piss with that at a later date too. It's nothing.
Just has to work for now.
I don't want to be losing, skipping like.
You're not going to be power shifting to 6th, bud.
You don't know the kind of hood rat shit I do on
5th and
Highway
6th
2.
are going to be nothing but cruising gears.
You don't know what I do on Highway 2, Moff.
This bitch will do 204th. Easily. Especially with these gears.
Nuh-uh, not if I get the 411s.
It'd still
What
probably
do I even
do.
have in this thing? We should actually figure that out.
Alright, so when we first put this shifter together, it had about a 10-inch stroke from like 3rd to 4th. And that's a little more than a little excessive.
Just a touch.
So Stephen was coming up with all these ideas on how to do something. And then we had a quick brainwave. And we actually took this cradle and flipped it upside down. Like usually this is all inside. Flipped it upside down and then drilled a new hole through the shifter handle at the base here. And now we have no problem side to side. We had to do a little bit of clearancing on this side, I will say. But what's your shift throw now, Stephen?
Well, there's 3rd. And there's 4th. It's about
So
2.5
yeah,
inches.
we got about 2.5 inch shift throw now, which is like super short. But the other thing was this shifter is really heavy, especially with this length, like it's full steel. And like you'd throw it in 3rd and it would drop back down to 4th if you threw it too fast. So now, being such a short throw, it takes a lot more effort. The weight has no bearing on it now. So yeah, if you end up, any of you end up working on one of these ZFs and end up having to put like a longer handle on it because you're in a truck or something like this, that's the solution right there.
So there we go, guys. Shifter's installed on the 6-speed. One step closer. Like I said, I can figure out some way of getting a little stiffer, but for now, this will be fine. Until next time, have a good day.